Are you ready for the ultimate bikepacking weekend adventure? Join us for an unforgettable self-supported bikepacking trip through Southwest Virginia. The Grayson Gravel Pie Bikepacking Adventure travels along the Virginia Creeper Trail, the beautiful gravel roads of Grayson County, Virginia, and the New River Trail. All lodging and camping arrangements are included, along with daily routes and guides riding along with you. This self-supported adventure offers resupply opportunities every 20 miles for your food and water needs. Find out more at graveltraveldirt.com.
You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian.
And I'm Joey.
I'm Dave.
And this is episode 138 of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. Come on along, everybody. Spend the next hour or so with us talking about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bike packing, bike camping, the unPAved of the Susquehanna River Valley, or just playing bikes. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Okay. I don't know if that's lag.
Even better than good. Better than good. Good. That's bike industry good.
I am in the mountains of western North Carolina. Dave is in his home somewhere in the woods in Pennsylvania. And Joey's on Homestead right there in the kitchen. So if we're a little out of order tonight, then bear with us a little bit. Joey, have you got anything that you were drinking tonight?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I had a beer before this. Now I got a Lagunitas little something ale. And then I'll probably head to another one.
I am drinking from Elk Creek Cafe and Ale Works in Millheim, Pennsylvania, which is just north of the unPAved course. They're great. They're Blue Heron Pale Ale. I may not have the name exactly right, but it's definitely their Blue Heron Pale Ale. It's delicious.
I
had my first stout on tap this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, weren't we, Joey? Like, screw all this pumpkin spice nonsense. I'm ready for stout season to start. I had
Yeah, but you don't drink alcohol anymore.
Yeah, I do. I was just getting ready to tell you. I had one of those hard seltzers here earlier today. I don't have anything in front of me now because I've been down here setting up work on the computer, but I had some earlier. I can't remember if it wasn't White Claw. What are some of the other ones? I don't know what the names of them are, but it was one of those things.
I don't know, Brian. I'm a grown-up.
Yeah, they're all the same.
So like I said, I'm down here in the mountains, but I'm waiting for the rain to clear up. It has been doing nothing down here.
Is it going to rain soon?
Well, it's just been raining here. I feel like I'm in a cloud right now. When I look out the window, it's just everything is white. But that's okay because I think if you're gonna,
that's what you get for drinking hard seltzer.
I'm just it's good to actually. I'm kind of glad it started the week of being away from home with some rain because it really did force the sit down, stop, put your bike away for a few days, and just relax. So. I've got my Diverge with me, Joey. I've been doing nothing today but looking on Strava and ride with GPS and scouting out little different gravel roads and climbs and hills. And Joey has loaned me his 650s.
Where are you again?
Banner Elk, which is just up the hill from Boone, North Carolina, Appalachian State University.
Oh.
So very, very
My
western.
parents wouldn't let me go to college there.
It's a pretty big party school from what I understand. It's a big university now, too. But there's some
between like the fly fishing and the mountain biking, I'd
never do anything.
Flunk out.
Yeah. Actually, my daughter looked at a school right here in Banner Elk way back when she was first looking at schools, Lee's McRae, which is actually I think it's one of the only schools in the country that you can get a minor in cycling. I think you can actually take that as a curriculum course at this point. So did
Fort Collins have that too?
What's that?
I thought Fort Collins.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think Louise McRae is like
matter.
the big one on the East Coast. There's a lot of racers that have gone to Louise McRae.
Yeah, it's a big bike school. Big bike school. They like to say that Banner Elk is a drinking town with a skiing problem, is what I've heard them self-describe themselves as, because it's right here at Sugar Mountain. Joey, what's going on in your world? Anything to catch everybody up on?
Well, the endless pile of running a bike shop just keeps stacking up. But I enjoy it still. I'm pretty behind. Some people just throw me some stuff and are like, "Hey, can you have this ready by tomorrow?" And then you're like 2 days behind on invoices and paperwork, and then it just snowballs.
He's talking about me, Dave. He's talking about me. But I did tell you that you did not have to
special service.
I told you that was you just do what you needed to do, and I would suffer through. But Joey, being the good guy,
you have that puppy dog look on your face. And you're like,
I know. Joey's just a good guy. Dave, you don't have anything going on right now, do you, buddy?
It's been a long week already, and today's day one.
No, just sitting back in a hammock,
doing nothing,
swinging away. Yeah.
I don't.
What do you do all day?
Doing a whole lot of nothing, not looking at screens at all day.
Dave is a busy man.
Wow, so much is going on. Let's see. 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, stopped working at Lehigh University after 17 years. Then took a week off officially, but really just worked on a side gig for a whole week, getting unPAved squared away as best I could, so that on Monday, which is yesterday according to us in recording time, started working at Rodale Institute as Director of Marketing Communications. So back at Rodale, which got me up to Pennsylvania in 1984. I came up here to work at Rodale Press at the time.
Wow.
Which is a published company that's now gone, but the nonprofit research institute where organic was basically created. The organic movement started, just down the road from here, and they are going full freaking throttle. It's pretty amazing. I'm very overwhelmed with everything that's happening there. I need to figure out how to distill it so then I can tell the whole world about it here on podcasts like this.
I was going to say, didn't you just start your master's program?
I did not just start the master's program. I don't know why. That's one thing I'm not doing right now. But I also, this past weekend, got to spend time with our good friend Paul Daniels and Billy Mark Igasawa, but just outside of the unPAved course, but we got on it for a little bit as part of the paper trail gravel travel new business that they're starting up. So we spent time out there and being fed amazing local food and going out on amazing rides in Bald Eagle State Forest, staying at this really cool farm with all these cottages and bunks, and it was just a really cool setup. So they're on to something for sure.
He was the guy we met on unPAved 2 years ago.
He sweeps our course on a single speed.
Yeah, and he started Paper Trail, right?
Yep, it's a small bike cafe.
Yeah,
in Philadelphia, the oldest building in America.
Yeah,
just in the park of Philadelphia, and it's a small boutique bike shop with rodeo labs. I forget all the brands that they have. Their Reggie's, the clothing, WTB with their tires, and a few others. Gooder and unTapped is a big thing there because he's good friends with Ted King. Yeah, he used to be part of the Ingamba tour company. Yeah, worked with them a lot, and is now starting a gravel one and doing stateside. So they did one in Vermont this summer. They did one in Pennsylvania this last weekend. They're looking to expand and do more around the country next year. So keep an eye on them. They do a fabulous job. It's definitely
it looked amazing,
pampering, and it's what everyone deserves at some point in their year or life. It was truly wonderful. I felt refreshed coming from a good bike vacation. Typically bruised and horrible, but you come back from there going, I can't do anything. This is great. The yoga, I'm not a yoga person. I felt like riding all day the next day.
We could probably do a whole episode on that, but it looked like I've actually been trying. I should have got his number a while ago.
I might know it.
Yeah.
In fact, everyone on it now. Here, hold on.
Yeah, call and make your best Wookiee noise.
Whoops, it's actually Brian's number.
It looks like, everything was set up. Like you guys all had the rodeo. Like did it come with like kit, glasses, socks, like the whole
Ridge
works?
Supply. That was another different Ridge Supply.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So their tagline is, "You pedal, we do the rest," or something like that. And you show up with your shoes, helmet, computer, and some basic measurements if you want to. You can bring your bikes in and they can guide it off of that. But yeah, we rode Rodeo Labs Planimals.
I want to do that.
That's
it
cool.
was so nice. Except with Redshift, that was another company. So I finally got a long-term review of the Redshift stem and their suspension seat post. Both of them are really great. I mean, obviously, I love myself a Warbird with stainless no tubes and so on and so forth. But boy, I felt really good descending on that bike with the flared bar with the grips on the end. The older style grips. I didn't get the one with the bar and the front. Mark had a set of that, but it was more standard bar, but a wide flare with those grips on the end, which super confident. I mean, I know the route and course very well, so if there was a turn coming up with an intersection, I would just bomb by everyone at full throttle, fearlessly, and get there so I could point which way to go down from there. And I had no problem. Like, there's a turn coming up. I should go. Whoosh. It was really great. So, highly recommend.
It looked very cool. And I assume most of those pictures were from Mark or something.
There was a few people taking photos there. They are big on that. Celine got our photos. I haven't gone through them yet, and she was there too. But they want people to spread the word, and because it's a good word to spread, that's for sure. Live your best life. Yes.
You guys see that the new GoPro Hero 10 is now out.
Now that we're starting vlogging because the video stuff. It's funny. It's like if you buy it from GoPro, it's like $150 off already.
Yeah. If you've got the GoPro subscription account, which I've had for years,
I don't have to say about GoPro.
You can get it. I've gone through all sorts of iterations, all the way back to the 3, the Session. I've got a 5. I've got an 8. It's almost like though I feel like GoPro, like every year there's a new GoPro that comes out, and it's almost like how can you advance that far with the technology?
It's the Apple model,
and not be holding something back. It's almost like as soon as you get it, it's outdated. It kind of, and it seems like it's just marginal updates. They've doubled their frame rates, but I mean, honestly, who's out there doing YouTube stuff at 5.3 K and at 60 frames a second? Just nobody can even consume that. So what's the big deal?
Good question.
I get 4K at 120 frames per second. Man, that's going to be some really buttery smooth slow motion. But it just boggles my mind that they keep so quickly. There's all these new updates.
About the B-roll.
So, Mid-South 2022 priority registration opened October 24th and runs through the 29th. And that priority registration is for those folks that registered for the 2021 socially distanced event. The randomizer registration opens October 30th and closes the 31st. And the starting list is going to be announced on November 6th. This is kind of interesting. They got 3 new race categories for 2022. They have got a 70-plus men and women. They've got an Inspiration 12-mile fun ride designed for families and kids, and a non-binary 100-mile event. So a lot of cool things going on in Mid-South.
Nice.
So that's getting ready to happen.
Well, as cool as Mid-South is,
mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no need to travel to the Mid-South.
Why you got to go that far?
I mean, between North Carolina and Pennsylvania,
you got to travel
some pretty solid ones.
Yeah. And speaking of North Carolina, Croatan $150. Croatan $150
Hop in your car,
registration.
go to Croatan, go out to Dirty Kitten, go to unPAved, go to Vermont Overland.
Yep.
The Vermont Overland was very good.
I mean, you can go north.
Recommend it.
Croatan $150 registration is now open. And Joey, have you registered yet?
I told you I registered as a volunteer.
Good for you.
Nice.
Everyone can ride.
Everyone loves volunteers. We love the volunteers.
Actually, I thought you would have thought it was funny, but no, I really registered as a volunteer.
Good.
Matt has helped me so much getting stuff for the shop and everything, and I figured I could help him out. All right, top 100. David Hunter from Richmond, Virginia, with 213.9. Nick Torres from Colorado with 146.8, and Sean Scott from Chicago, Illinois with 323.5. That's dyslexia. To break into the top 100, you needed 126. I think I just missed that. Yes. We are at 759 from 755, so maybe the great white whale, Wesley, will pop back in to the chat at 800, right?
Never going to happen.
What is that?
That 126 is way down. It was up in the high 130s last week. Mid to high 130s last week. It's like 137, 38, 39, something like that.
Well, daylight.
Yeah.
People are working.
Yeah. Joining us for this whole event, whole show, Dave Pryor of Susquehanna, unPAved of the Susquehanna River Valley. Thank you, Dave, for coming on.
All right, quick question before we start. Anyone?
Yeah.
Anything. If I forgot to find a place to sleep, Dave, where can I? I think I got the last Airbnb in town.
Good. That's one. Someone just posted on the unPavers group that they have a cabin lodge that's just off course, about 40 minutes from start finish. So you could look there. I have not looked yet. I don't honestly know. I actually still need to organize the lodging for all the volunteers. So maybe don't book anything now because I might still need to book some things. I know that Bucknell had to take over a hotel, so that displaced some people because of COVID quarantine, or at least plotting for that in case they needed to. So they kind of threw off the numbers. So I don't honestly know what's going on with that right now. Been doing other stuff with lodging. I've not got a lot of complaints about it, so I'm guessing it's okay. No one said I have to bail because I can't get in. I can't get a room. So I've not gotten to that point yet. So no news is good news as far as I know. There's places. I don't know.
Joey, we do have a place to stay, though, right?
3 weeks ago, and a friend was looking. So,
Joey, we do have a place to stay, though, right?
Yep.
Okay. Phew.
Yeah, I'm just double checking it now.
You got me worried there for a minute. So
My
Dave,
first Airbnb got denied.
So, Dave, anybody that may have been living underneath of a bunker or just come out of a bunker or living underneath of a rock, do me a favor, just introduce the unPAved event for folks that may not know what we're talking about.
Sure. It's a gravel race and or ride, depending on how you want to do it, out of Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, which is pretty close to the center of the state. A really cool college town. Bucknell University is there. And the long distance is 120 miles. We also have 90-mile course, and both the 120 miles is 100 miles of gravel or mixed terrain, unpaved roads, as we like to say. And the 90 is, well, I guess that would make that 60 since it's 30 miles less. We also have shorter rides, 50, 30, and 20 miles that don't go into the forest. We call those the summits. They are mostly paved. It's less gravel, but also a lot less climbing to the mountains of the Bald Eagle State Forest. But if you think of the 120-mile course as a whole, it's, there's a rail trail that leaves Lewisburg. It's really pretty to go through farm country. Then we put you on some of the farm road. Some of those are unpaved too. And about 14, you get into the state forest, and then you are in unpaved territory, which has a number of climbings. For 120 miles, we have roughly 10,000 feet of elevation gain on it. Also means 10,000 feet of descending. Don't get that part of it. Do think that we have some of the best descending I've ever done on a bike. There's really long, gradual gravel descents on it. And there are 6 aid stations out on course. 2 of them you go by twice. We do have kind of one of the main ones in Poe Patty is where the 120 milers do a split and do the 30 mile, what we call the difference, which is 30 miles and 4 significant climbs, and also has our one kind of gnarly road that everyone talks about. Everyone talks about this one 4-mile section of the entire 120-mile course, but the rest is pristine gravel. It's really, I don't want to say it's road bikeable, but I know it's been ridden on a road bike, but it's really, really nice stuff. The difference has a little bit of chunk in it. And then you come back to Poe Patty and circle back around, come back into Mifflinburg, or the last aid station is at the Rusty Rail Brewing Company, which is always a plus. You guys know it well.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's 9 miles of rail trail back to the finish line. We have a party at the Miller Center for everyone who comes back.
It's basically like 6 parties throughout the whole thing.
We do things a little differently than, yeah, there's a lot of ways to enjoy, and including we do things a little bit different. One of the big things is we use segment timing. So it's not a 120-mile race. We only 40 miles of the course over 6 segments. So the first 14 miles, the rail trail and the rolling farm roads that are kind of populated. There are more cars on those than in the forest. Those are not timed, so you can ride those at your leisure. Once you get into the forest, then we start the clock at the bottom of the first climb, which is Jones Mountain. It's the biggest climb of the entire day. So race yourself up that. It's about a 2 mile, maybe it's 4 mile segment. Get to the top of that, catch your breath, pull over at the Vista. You're not being timed during that. You can pull over, take some pretty pictures, wait for your friends, hang out, start rolling down the descent at your leisure. Try not to race the really fast, dangerous corners that someone crashes on every year. We'll start the timing right after that little dangerous section. And then you can roll the next 7 miles to the first checkpoint, which is the ranch, famously run by the Happy Valley Women's Cycling Group and the Pedals and Pints crew out of Millheim, where I was having the spear from, and Elk Creek, and a lot of friends from State College. The clock is turned off during that. You can pull over. And Brian, how many hot dogs do you think someone could eat at one of those?
Oh, 8 or 10.
26.
And you can, because you're not being timed. Maybe we should take time off for every hot dog you eat. We should think about that.
Or get them a bonus. Get them some sort of like, you can take a minute, take 2 minutes off for every hot dog you eat.
Time bonus.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe for another podcast. I've done Donut Derby, and that's one of the few things I'll never do again. That was horrible. 20 donuts, and I was third place.
So, Dave, what year is this for the event? How many times have you done it?
Anyway, so the nice thing is it takes you the checkpoints. You can take your time in. You can relax. You can make sure you get all the things you need. You can use drop bags. We highly encourage drop bags, so you make sure you have the hydration, nutrition things you want. Pack a pizza. I don't care. Make sure your lights are there, because it can take a long time, especially if you're stopping a lot. And take care of yourself. Pack extra tubes and things. So, and then you race after that. So there's times to regroup and meet with your friends. Last year, the women's podium, they started the ride together. They rode together the whole day. They raced each other up and down the segments. And then they regrouped after each segment to see how they were doing, and had a picnic at an aid station. And then they came in all together as well. And they finished 1, 2, 3 overall. So we feel it's a really great way to enjoy gravel, enjoy the community, and still go out and give yourself a healthy effort while you're doing it.
So how many years have you done the event, Dave?
This will be year 4.
Year 4. And what's the size of the event?
This year, we're going to go up to 1,200 total people. So we have a cap of 800 people we can have inside the forest in the 120 mile, the 90 mile, and something I haven't talked about yet, the overnight category. We'll bring that up later. And right now we have about a dozen left open that we reopened registration a couple weeks ago. It fills and it kind of empties again as people defer for next year, things come up, and we'll keep that going for about another week. And then we can also have your people doing the shorter distances, which are still beautiful, gorgeous rides and some of the prettiest farm country roads you've ever been on. It's really peaceful and wonderful on those roads. So 1,200 people total.
Very nice. I mean, I guess it's one of the big. What were you at before? Like 1,000? In
2019, we were 1,000. I think we may have gone a little bit over that. I think we were closer to 1,100 with the 20 milers. At that point, it was a 30 miler. Last year, we went down to 200 and just had the 120 miles on it. 200 was our cap for, an outdoor event in Pennsylvania during the restrictions, including 250, but we also had 50 volunteers. So then we had 200 participants.
Okay. So I know you mentioned it a little bit ago. So like course updates and whatnot. I know there's like a bridge out causing some reroutes.
Possibly, probably, maybe. Yeah, probably. There are some bridges. If you've seen the photos, there's a lot of creeks this rides along. Sometimes we cross them. Sometimes the bridges go under construction. You repair them for, one of them I think is going to be good for another 100 years. But they aren't necessarily done yet. So we are still working with forestry and PennDOT and seeing where those are going to be at. So we're not ready to redo the course yet, but we have alternate courses at the ready. Believe it or not, they're practically the same distances for the 120 and 90 milers. So we're at the ready. It'll still be 6 segments. It'll still be the same distances. It just may not be what we have currently up on the site. We may not be able to go by Hobo Vista, for example, but there'll be another Vista on course.
All the
like
vistas.
that. All the Vistas. There may be one really chunky trail for the 120s that they have to take for a section to go around a bridge, but we shall see.
Yeah, that's what they signed up for.
That's what they signed up for. Yeah, that Longville draft was bad.
So I guess that's it's still a big question every day with gravel, like tire selection. And then, I've heard most folks say you can do most of the course on, some lighter duty, but I guess, if you're doing the 120, you're going to need something just a little extra tire
I would
selection.
say for the 120, 40 is probably still optimal, depending on your comfort and skill level. So I mountain bike a lot. I mountain bike in Pennsylvania a lot. So I'm used to rock gardens and rock beds and going over things like that. And I know how to navigate and also relax through sections and maybe not push it through others.
Yeah.
So I would do something more like that and then have a more optimal setup for the other 116 miles. That's how I would go about it. So I also don't mind underbiking at times, and that's just more my style. But if you're someone who is super worried about that and not worried about the rest of the day, then I don't know, take a cutthroat out with 2.1, 2.3s and rail that section and then mosey along the whole rest of it. So that's one of the things I love about gravel bikes is you have a setup, and I think your setup should be for what you ride most of the time, whatever your local stuff is. And then you get to something that's different, and then your body has to adjust and the rider has to adjust. I think 40s are optimal for the course as a whole, just because we have such long descents. There are turns on them. So you want a good contact patch when all of a sudden there's a left-hander that you're surprised by. We try and market as well as we can, but people still get surprised by them. I think 40s are kind of optimal. I've been riding right now 38s on wide rims, so they're close to a 40. But it's a wide variety. They'll probably be down to 32s. I'm sure someone will probably try it on a road bike. If you're listening, don't do that. Don't let that be you.
Yeah. I know Brian has my 650s. I think I'm gonna throw those on Jess's bike.
This weekend was the first time I'd really done long rides on 650s, and it was really cool.
Like you said about the bike with the wide bars, doesn't it feel like you could just bomb everything?
Bomb everything. Like, holy
it's
cow.
Ridiculous. I
ride wide Ritchie bars now. It's not like I was riding other things, but I think the grip too had and maybe the wider, because there were 47s on 650s, so that was new to me. It was wider than I'm used to.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying now.
I'm setting my wheel set up tomorrow. That'll stay on my bike.
Yeah. Again, 650 is another great option because you can definitely, those descents will be even more fun. So
yeah. A little more confidence and stability for some folks.
Yep.
You feel a little. I was telling Brian, you feel a little bit more sluggish in some areas, but if your confidence gets boosted for most of the ride, do it.
Confidence is really good. I like it.
You'd be surprised the amount of folks I deal with that I'm like, oh, a little bit thicker. You'd be a lot more comfortable, more confident, right?
Yep.
But
and I understand. I came from a roadie background, and I'm looking at the bike that I use in my trainer now that has 23s on it. That's all I ever rode. That's all you ever need. Yeah, ride something wider. You go, oh, this is better. Oh, I'll get it now.
So I imagine you put together some decent weather, but if weather did get sloppy, that could change tire selection a little bit. But I actually like a nice little overcast.
Okay.
But hopefully you didn't call for any rain.
I've not called for any rain. We had a little rain at the end last year, some showers. Yeah. I will say that this course does really well in the wet. Unless we have a hurricane remnant come through, there should not be things that make, even with that, there won't be anything that makes you hike a bike for miles. I love you Mid-South, but we don't have anything like that. They can keep red derailleur destroying clay in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So I know there is some of that just north of our course. So we don't have any of that. It's a really rideable course. I think then you start making adjustments as a rider if it's really a wet, horrible day. Should you do the difference, or should you maybe 90 is plenty that you should do and make some of those adjustments?
And that's something you can pick when you're at Pro Patty, right? Like if it is just
sketchy,
you just don't go that last little that out and back, or that last horseshoe?
No,
big
it's
circle?
a 30-mile section between mile 45 and 75.
Yeah.
You go patty. I'm like, you know what? I can just say this is the second time I'm boat patty and just roll from here and start heading back, because 90 miles is still a big day out there.
That is.
And that's whether it's weather, or you're not having the day you wanted, or you're having such a great day you don't want to really put yourself in the pain cave. And again, that the difference is 30 miles of 4 significant climbs. So we like giving people the option, that's for sure.
Yeah. You just air down your tires a little bit more than normal in the rain.
Yeah.
So speaking of tire selection and whatnot, and you briefly wrote about it, just so our listeners can hear, because to be sponsor correct, who do you have on board this year? Because I don't know how things have changed over the last few years since.
We've had a couple. Richie's the one with tires that we have now. So they have a good WCS, and the 40 is really nice tire. Stands no tubes, because you should always ride tubeless all the time, and they invented it. Bikes would not be as good without stand, that's for sure. You want others, or?
Oh, well, I would say I don't know how far in depth. I mean, Brian's a little laggy right now, so I'm trying to save this from wasting your time. But do you?
I like the silent treatment from Brian. That's fine. Brian's just scared.
Yeah, Brian.
I say
He's
something
10 seconds behind, so he's afraid to jump in.
I think you guys hear it like you guys are still talking. I'm really out of sync with everything that's going on over there in y'all's world.
It's good. I really just want to talk about the whoopie pies coming up, but I didn't know. So is here without to cut that? Leave it.
Yep. Okay. Salsa, Stands No Tubes, Goo Nutrition, Floyd's of Leadville, Giro, Volley. We have really good gear from both of those. I just got the Giro long sleeve jerseys. Kind of loose ones are really cool. Who else? Nittany Mountain Works and Reload bag companies. You'd think as a professional I'd have this stuff handy where I could see them.
For you to be firing off, from the hip.
I am firing off from the hip. Purple Lizard Maps, Philly Bike Expo, Earth Fed Muscle, which is a new nutrition company that's going to be coming out, or it's going to be there, which is really cool. And Richie brought them up. Rusty Rail Brewing Company. Chamois Butter is back, and they are planning some fun things to do in Popatty. They want to hang out there for the day and entertain the crowd that comes in there. Backyard Beans Coffee Company. That's exciting to have them on board. They're going to have coffee at Popatty. They're also going to, much more about, we have 60 riders who are going to start the 120-mile course on Saturday and ride out and then spend the night at Popatty before they start riding back on Sunday. So it's not a timed event. We might, if we get time to do it, we might set up some scavenger hunt stuff for them or things like that to keep it entertaining. I think they'll entertain themselves. Play Saturday, hanging out on Sunday night at Popatty, which is one of the best campgrounds in the country, and then riding back. Speaking of nights, Lupine Lighting Systems, so everyone should ride with a light, and that's the best one out there. Crafter Solutions, the Bicycle Shop, Earl's Bike Shop, Happy Valley Women's Cycling Club. They're an amazing group they put on the Rothrock Grit event, which you guys were at in June, or Brian was at in June. Really good group. They do great things in the region. Freestyle Bike Shop is one of the best ones in State College. Our friend Nate, aka Baron von Fancy Pants at Hush Money Bikes in Lancaster. The Dutch Wheelman, Pito, who's at the bottom of Longwell Draft, saving people's days, and Paul and Paper Trail Bike Cafe. I think I covered them all.
Very nice.
I'm going to do a quick scroll again, but yeah, I think I got.
Purple Lizard Maps?
I did not. Oh my goodness, I'm the worst. Purple Lizard Maps I got by the Susquehanna River Valley Visitors Bureau. Holy cow, this event would not happen.
Oh man,
that's why they're on the title. That's why everything happens because of them. They have
saved the best for last.
There you go. They have a lot of plans. I know I say this every time, but they're coming to fruition. They're going to do a Ride with GPS tourism site with a lot of routes in the region. They are heavy into the kind of people that this event brings to the region. They love it. They want more people coming up. So definitely keep an eye out for Susquehanna River Valley Visitors Bureau.
I want to come up there with Paper Trail on a non-unpaved weekend.
I'm in. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just come up and ride bikes sometime.
So, has Evan really set the standard for Poe Patty as a rest stop?
I don't know, because
Like-
the ranch is crazy good. They have a nice little. They're not competing, but maybe they're competing.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm excited to actually go to Poe Patty this year as a rider.
And then Rusty Rail's gonna have. I mean, that's at a brewery. So
yeah.
I'm very happy with our aid stations.
And it sounds like it. Yeah, as always, every part of the ride's going to be fun. I'm excited. I've been counting out the days. I know I texted you a few weeks ago, and
I know I like the.
like, oh no,
I really
like,
need the days. To
yeah,
go.
I'm like,
That's
I like
scary.
I've like
We'll do
set
it
my
now.
whole season to this weekend coming up. But I just had to. It's just fun.
And it's good. I mean, he's talking about days to the event, but coming in on Friday, and we're gonna have a pub crawl through town. We have eight maybe six different bars in Lewisburg who are gonna have events or are gonna have sponsors set up with different swag things and contests and specials and things like that. So that's happening on Friday night. On Saturday, the Lewisburg Fall Festival has been moved to our weekend. They did that a couple of years ago, loved it, so they're coming back. I was just on the phone with them before this. The alcoholic whoopie pies will be there, like some million other vendors. A lot of our bike companies will be there, so that's going to be exciting. It's just a great day of mingling bike folks with local folks and bike things with local crafters and treats and yummies. It's all going to be in this park. It's not going to be the same park we were in 2 years ago.
Oh.
It's going to be in this one kind of behind on the other side of the main street, tucked in behind things, which is also good. We have more space to play with, but also then kind of walking distance from a few more bars and restaurants too. So kind of go in and out and do that sort of thing. We'll have a ride with our two-time women's champ, Kelly Catali, is going to lead an afternoon social ride on some of her old stomping ground. She's a Bucknell alum. So, but not as a stomping ground ride. It's going to be I'm going to spin my legs out ride. The ride you do before an event. Yeah. Not openers.
Not break your bike and kill yourself.
No,
kill your
it's
legs.
I think it's like 19, 20 miles tops, something like that.
Okay.
With a little rest stop and hangout thing. So you're definitely like a good social situation. There's kids activities, the rodeo, the woolly worm winter prognostication. That'll happen. So we'll find out what winter's going to be like when we see the size of the orange strip on the woolly worm caterpillar. Good times had by all.
You like read my mind because I was about to say, because like what to look for the weekend. Like I was trying to explain it to Jessica when she was trying to not take off school, and I was like, you got to take off Friday and
take
Monday.
off the weekend.
Like you don't just go up like Sunday night. Went up Friday early.
Cool. Perfect.
All the
That's
stuff's
how to
going
do
on,
it.
and
You have a time on
that's how you do it.
Monday. I'm going to try and get up for a bike ride myself. We can go for a little social ride on Monday and see how your weekends went. And for you people who like playing in the water or have water podcasts, the Susquehanna River Greenway are going to do a pop-up paddle. I think it's a 12-mile one way, like a drop in and then stop down right by us, or vice versa. I forget exactly how they set it up, with a lunch stop and that sort of thing on Saturday. So you can do both.
Oh,
if you're the kind of podcast
Monday, I was thinking about going fishing down at Penn's Creek.
And Penn's Creek has apparently some of the best trout fishing in America.
Penn's Creek. I didn't realize that when I fished Penn's Creek, it was right there in the past. Like that's like some of the best fishing. I figured since we're gonna be up there, I'm gonna go there Monday. I think.
Cool.
So, I would say that it sounds. I'm excited. It's actually not far away. I'm also dreading it at the same time because I got to leave my store for like 4 days. So hopefully the alcohol clears the stress level.
It's short-term memory loss will be important for that.
Yeah. So at a good balance, work-life balance. So we'll see.
You've earned it.
Well, yeah. Hopefully. I'll say don't let the shop burn down. But
that didn't happen on your watch. Anyway.
Yeah. I didn't do.
You want to be there for that anyway.
Yeah. For you, this is a very well thought out question there, Brian.
Am I missing the chat? Sorry.
What has been the best thing to come out of unPAved PA for you personally, Father Dave? Yes, that's deep.
The fame, not the fortune. Instead of this or that, fame or fortune, you have a choice. It's absolutely been meeting so many great people. Without a doubt, met you guys through this. I've met so many people. Kelly Catali is absolutely great. We were on another podcast together, and it was so much fun. The Matt and Jenny Acker come down from Michigan. Alison Tetrick came out, Ted King, but beyond the fast people, I've become much better friends with Baron Von Fancy Pants through this, the Happy Valley Women's Cycling Group. Started reaching out to them immediately. Like, how do I get more women involved in my events? Come talk to me about the events and what you guys would want to see. And they've been instrumental. Then I get to help them with their event. It just builds and builds and builds and builds. It's the gravel community. There's no doubt about it. It's just so great and rewarding to just be part of helping build something people look forward to and then want to take me up for rides. I'm like, oh, you're going to be around, come ride with me. And that's so much fun to go ride with people. So it's been really rewarding.
Yeah. It's a blast. I think the networking I was able to do is ridiculous. And I just went as a spectator. And it's fun.
You were supposed to ride.
I was supposed to ride. Yeah. Wes
started a ride. He got kicked off the side of the rail trail at mile 1.4.
He got shuffled out.
Yeah, it was like a few miles in. I was like, why is my heart rate like at 185 or something, Brian?
I don't think I'll ever forget, John, if you guys can hear me or not.
It's the only time I'll ever be in front of like.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't know this. The look on your face, Joe, when you looked over at me and you were like, I don't know. It's almost like exactly what you said. I just got to stop. It was. You looked panicked.
I don't know if it was nerves, like it was cold.
You don't panic. You're one of those people in this world that just doesn't panic. And I think that's probably the only time I've ever seen you, because I like totally in that state. And I think most of it was because you knew you had Ted King right on your wheel. And you were like, oh my goodness, I mean, if I mess this up.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't just. There was other fantastic riders up there.
Well, yeah.
My man crush is still there for Ted, but I do one wrong thing and I take out the whole front end.
So
just gunning it. This year, I'm just gonna. We're not doing the mass start anyway.
We are not doing the mass start anyway. Not just because you guys nearly killed the entire field. We took it out last year, and because of COVID. And it worked. Like start at anytime between 7:30 and 9. Like if you were an early riser, one all day into the night to finish it, start early. If you would rather have a third cup of coffee and not have to wear a thermal jacket, wait till it warms up a little bit, start later. It's all good.
It takes a lot of the pressure off.
Get your stuff together.
It takes a lot of the pressure off.
You're not worried about the Porta-John line being 12 deep and you're going to miss the start. And I forgot my gloves. Never mind, I can't get them because we're about to start. Screw that. I know the butterflies are great and the nerves at the start, I get it. But, you're not going to necessarily see Ted, Matt Kerbeau, Allison, Kelly, any of these folks longer than 10 seconds. But if you start at 7:30 a.m. and they only need so much time to do the course, they're going to start later in the day because they're not necessarily morning people. You might actually see them on a segment. You might see them crush a climb. You might see them rail a descent. You might see them go down long wall drive. You might happen to be there and get out of their way. They might yell and say, coming through. But you actually then get to be around them. Or if you're really lucky, you get to ride between segments with them and chat and talk. And they're very friendly and personal. So that's another kind of perk of that as far as bringing, the pointy end and the mullet together. Into a mohawk, maybe that's what we're doing. I don't know. That's a good part of it too.
That's what I'll do.
But not just because you guys nearly killed the field.
It happens. It happens.
Well, Dave, I feel so bad that this has gotten so janky with the audio, and I apologize, and I hope that I'm going to be able to piece some of this together and actually make it make sense for folks, because I would feel horrible if
I'm wondering.
That'll be great.
Is it me? Because one of these episodes I was on,
It's
It
not you,
was
it's me.
Wes and I had to wrap it up together.
No, it's I think I've got some bandwidth issues going on here in the mountains, which I've not experienced before, and I've got some lag. So it's been very, very challenging here on this end. I do want to do, because Joey, I think I put together a pretty good this or that list for this week. So I think if you guys will bear with me, I'm gonna try to kick it off, and then I'm gonna shut up, and then Joey, I'll depend upon you to tell me when you have finished your ramblings, and then I will try to throw out an answer and then bring you the next one on the list. So if you guys would like to,
Roger,
let's jump into some this or that. How's that? So
Let's do it.
Dave, you're first, Joey, you're second, and then I'm gonna try to bring it past. And this is actually sort of an appropriate this or that for the lagging and the time delays that I'm dealing with at the moment. Would you rather time travel to the past or be able to time travel to the future? Both assuming that you would return to whatever point in time you left.
Wow. Great question. Wow. It's a big question for me now to get deeper than we normally would with this podcast. You know, with this new job and what we're trying to do with bringing regenerative organic agriculture to the forefront, which is really going back in time in a lot of ways. So because we think doing that will actually save the future and seeing what that's like. Plus, being the dad of a kid in college, and it's stressful. Love to jump to the future and see what that was like. I'd also like to jump to the past to like hang out with her as like a 4-year-old dancing around the room because I miss those days. Dude, you've got me here. I'm stumped. I guess I would I have a pretty good memory, so I think I'd like to take a peek into the future.
That went deep. Mine, this is deep. I mean, I just made a big post about not dwelling on the past the few times I post on social media, or Facebook. I think I'd like to go in the future. 'Cause, I mean, what's happened. It would be cool to see how start turning.
Would you muck up the past though? Because without that whole Back to the Future, muck up the past.
Yeah, like do I have Marty McFly it, or do I date my mom, or?
Ooh, now it's getting deeper.
Yeah, you brought it up.
Levels.
Let's keep it a little lighter here, fellas.
Well, I don't know. Let's go to the future. I don't know. I'm every decision I made in the past led me to here, and I'm pretty happy where I'm at.
Exactly. Good point.
For me, the future scares me. I would be afraid to know, I think, what is going to happen in the future, because then when you came back, you're never the same. But if you had the ability to go back in time to actually see things that you've learned, I think you could make yourself be a better person. I think that would offer you that opportunity to actually be able to relive some history, or at least view it kind of live and firsthand.
You go deep history,
Yeah. So
here, I'll make up for my weird one. I'll get really deep right now. The thing that scares me about being older is I would love to go back and hang out with my dog a little bit more. I just lost my dog. Yeah. Man, now that I'm 31, I hate knowing that my parents are getting older. My pets got older. It's mentally in the back of my head. It scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, and if I was
going back
so
to
there
kill
you go.
baby Hitler,
Think about that one.
If I was to go to the
future,
I would want to go way in the future. I wouldn't want to go just a few years down the road and be like, oh, what happened to where is so-and-so? And it's all of a sudden find out they're not there anymore. That would be horrific. That would be horrible. Okay. Next item on this or that.
We find out that Wes is still not on the podcast.
That we don't have to see the future to be able to. Okay. Item number 2 for this week's this or that. This is the way, or I have spoken.
Huh?
Joey, I'll let you explain it.
Dang, Dave.
Did he break up, or
definitely off on this
one?
Any
sense at all?
No,
it's a Mandalorian reference.
He didn't break up. It was this is the way.
Or
I have spoken.
What's I have spoken by? What's that from?
Mandalorian.
Still?
Yeah, oh yeah,
I don't remember that
Mandalorian.
All right, then this is the way.
Well, there we go.
This is the way. Because I don't know the other one at all.
This is the way. It sounds like this is a super official. I have spoken, something like an old man would say. I have spoken. It's like something Brian would say.
I like the "I have spoken."
Who said that?
So this is
what's the little guy's name?
He encountered earlier, rode on the back of the big elephant-looking thing, and I have spoken, kind of like end all things, end all stories.
Yeah. No, oh my God, no! Then this is the way.
I'm not even going to start this one and correct you,
Joey. I was going to actually throw in here a third one and say, "Do you realize who I am?" Okay, I was going to skip straight ahead. Third item, because this one is really pressing. I need to know the answer to this one. Choco taco or an ice cream sandwich?
Ice cream sandwich.
Ice cream sandwich.
There you go.
Really? You guys just take that like so simply.
Is that what you wanted?
No, the Choco Taco is amazing.
Where did you grow up?
Oh, but the Choco Taco, come on.
So it's an ice cream sandwich.
Well, all right. Okay, we'll agree to disagree.
More than necessary.
Last item on this
you wanted
week's...
the answer.
I think me and Dave agreed.
Yeah, I'm just the oddball out, but I still think you're both wrong. Wah, wah, Choco Taco's better. Climbing long hero gravel, like really big climb, long, but it's hero gravel, or just bombing down some shorter, loosey, chunky kind of mush gravel, loose stuff, chunky.
Wow. If you had rephrased that question flip, and it'd absolutely be long roll draft to the right turn to the Huffnagel road climb, because that is exactly the bomb down this chunk gravel, some potholes, rock beds, that sort of thing, and then you take a right, and then it's in the absolute perfect. It's still like the background of my phone, perfect gravel climb with a creek along the side, and it's just perfect. No one talks about how great that climb is, even though it's the best one on the course. So I guess it's the chunk descent.
That's what sticks out in your mind.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's what sticks out.
Really, really great. Yeah, it's what sticks out in your mind. I mean, it's definitely, and we have lots of other great climbs too. It's not like it's the only one. So I guess that's why that Huffnagel Road climb is really, really pretty.
I take it that's Dave's answer.
Oh, did I answer? I didn't really answer.
Oh.
No, let's get rad.
Let's
go. No, let's send it. We're going downhill.
You did mention earlier when you're on a we won't mention the name because it's not a salsa, but you were bombing some roads earlier.
But it wasn't chunky.
You loved it.
Those are perfectly smooth roads.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't do any chunk on those. But I do. I mean, I ride mountain bike. I love climbing down stuff, and so I have done long rail draft down and up. It's way better down. So send it. Let's go down.
I do talk all the time about I'm always afraid of like blowing out a front wheel on a big descent. But I mean, I guess if it's for this, Brian, because this changed my answer. Maybe not.
You're always in the correct fitness.
Yes, thank you.
It's your fitness.
My fitness.
Exactly.
As much as I say I don't like, I mean, I do love like really descent. I mean, I started doing downhill stuff, early in the day. Actually, my first concussion was on a gravel fire road on my downhill bike. Like not even on the trail. Like I hit a huge pipe drainage ditch and just ejected myself. But I still had a blast, and I got back up and kept going to the bottom, and then realized what happened.
Yeah.
It was fun. I would probably get an ice cream sandwich and then bomb some loose chunk.
There's a chocolate taco at the top of the climb.
Yeah. Joe, we've talked about this before. I enjoy the social aspect of climbing. I really do. I enjoy being able to settle into a rhythm. You've got people around you. It's kind of like it feels a little more social to me. And the we don't get to ride a lot of gravel. So I'm always a little tentative. And if you throw some loose chunk on a big bomb descent, it's going to like give me a little pucker factor. So I think I'm definitely going to go with that.
Now it's 650 by 47s.
Well, we'll see. I'll let you know. As soon as this rain stops, I'm going to get out on some and see what I can make them do. So we'll see. I'll let you know.
You break them, you buy them.
Wait a minute.
You'll have plenty of opportunity. We'll throw plenty of hero climbs your way at unPAved the Susquehanna River Valley.
Yeah. I
Super.
I enjoy it. Guys, again, I apologize for this nonsense. Joe, have you got anything else before we begin to wrap this thing up?
Oh, heck yes, I do.
Go for it.
We don't want to hear about your sorrows. This will be fine. Jess did the DC half the other day, I called an audible late at night. I went out on the canal. Man, that first 10 or so miles is freaking horrible. From Georgetown I rode to Carter Rock. There's some like super chunky parts of that canal trail that I almost considered getting on the WOND, which was paved right next to it. I don't know if you remember that section, Brian.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God! And then they were doing a marathon on the canal, so that was not the greatest plan. But I did ride, like 20 miles of the canal, and it was great. But I didn't realize how chunky that first stretch is out of Georgetown. It's rattling in some areas. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't expecting it. Just maybe in my mind, I was just thinking like hero flat gravel, like not real gravel / smooth. It was chunky. That's about it. Just crushed the run and got
she did
stuck
awesome
in DC, and that was about it. I think she's going to be up in PA, I guess, right outside. Well, depends on who you talk to. She'll be up outside of your area, Dave, in a week or two, doing a quasi bike packing trip.
Where at?
Brian, do you know where that is?
DNL.
DNL?
Yeah, DNL.
Is that close? I don't know.
It's long. It goes from just outside of Philly to well north of Jim Thorpe. So depends where she's going to be.
I think she's doing the upper section.
The upper section, I believe.
Okay. Let me know where it's going to be. We'll try and go around, say hi or something.
There's a group of ladies doing that.
Awesome. Well, maybe we'll be on the side of the road with beer or something like that.
I think that's her last event or last thing before unPAved.
I will say another thing for people, if you either want to tune up before unPAved or just want to go for a great ride, the Pennsylvania Environmental Council has one of their public land rides, an in-person one the weekend before on the Saturday, I think that's the 2nd. So look up Pennsylvania Environmental Council and the public land rides. That'll be the Black Shannon State Forest, and that's a beautiful place to ride bikes as well. So we'll be out there, and that'd be a good place to hang out as well.
My last thing before we shut this thing down, from a business standpoint, I don't know what the countdown is. 1,200 people doing that. I don't know if we hit 1,000, 1,500 people this episode. If you're listening to this now and you need something done to your bike, do it now.
Do it now.
I'm gonna have people like, I don't know, someone else in this podcast looking for tires for the event and such. If we're cutting it close, I will have some, but obviously stuff is shorted, and bike shops are backed up.
They're backed up, but also we can't guarantee that we'll have tubes on course anywhere. Like the shops who support our event that I listed before, I can't ask them to pull tubes out of inventory to give out free on the course.
They don't have tubes.
The ones that they have, if they have them at all, let alone a lot of other spare parts and things. So everyone needs to be very self-sufficient out there.
Yeah.
Do you have a
dream? But
do you have a category, Dave, for I broke my bike and had to push it 90 miles? Because that's gonna be. I'll just walk it, Joey.
Wear comfy shoes.
Yeah, get yourself a spare derailleur hanger now. Get yourself some tires. Get yourself, your bike tuned up.
Put some tires in the drop bags and sell them if you don't need them out on course, and someone else does.
Get yourself a stand start.
Industry, yeah.
I would say if anyone that I know has listened to this and has bike issues, I'm not a bike mechanic that weekend, but I will kindly help out.
If you can get fresh brake pads, put them in before unPAved.
Yes,
you will
don't
go
wait.
through them. There's so much descending. You don't really want to do it with it's probably enough left. don't do that because you could get really hurt.
Who was I was listening to the King of the how do you say her? Sarah Sturm? Is it Sturm?
Yeah.
Sarah Sturm. Did you I guess before she
great,
did Steamboat.
Yeah.
Like minutes before she had her brake pads changed out.
Sure. Yeah. Pros are pros.
Yeah, I mean, say be an average Joe, not a pro.
Exactly. Don't be. Yeah.
But she did kill it. So, yeah, I'll say friendly service reminder.
Yes, that's a good one.
That's about it.
Thank you, Joey, for that little commercial break. Appreciate it. I'll take it to heart,
Sponsored
Joey.
by the Patuxent Adventure Center.
Joey, I know you're talking about me, but I don't even know what wheels and tires I'm going to be running for unPAved.
Don't be like Brian, everybody.
Plenty of time.
I don't even know.
15 times.
I don't even know.
There's plenty of time in a normal year, but during COVID,
it's a whole.
You're going to ride what you can. What
ride
can I
what
ride?
you brought.
Oh, this works. Yep. All right, we're riding that now.
Yeah. All right, you guys got anything else before we shut it down?
No, thank you all. Oh, but let's Brian talk about if you wanted to have a pop-up thing like you had at Rothrock about getting to interview people and talk to them and stuff like that. We could definitely do that at the festival.
Oh, cool.
And at the unPAved party afterwards too.
Cool.
If you wanted to do that. So.
Yeah, and I'll record everything. There'll be no Zoom in the middle. We'll just record everything, and it'll be beautiful. It'll be fine.
Sonic brilliance.
Thanks everybody for listening and suffering through this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. Again, my apologies, Dave. You, as usual, are on point, brother. Thank you very much for joining us.
Love you guys.
Very much appreciated. Joey, how can folks get in touch with us if they wanted to contact us?
All right, so if you want to find us, we're on graveltraveldirt.com. Everything you need to know is basically on there. If you can't find anything on there, tell Brian to fix the website because he created it.
Mm-hmm.
Our Instagram, which sometimes I put up polls about not doing video work and such, is at Mid-Atlantic GTD. And if you feel the need to call and leave us your best Wookiee impersonation, our phone number is 410-474-8345. Also 410-231-4664.
Thank you very much, Joey. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt is recorded this week from way out in the boonies in North Carolina.
North Carolina or Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania's winning right now. Thanks for riding along, everybody. Until next time, do good, be nice, go slow, respect others.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.